Hi, peeps. Welcome back to another episode. Wow, we are coming up at the end of the year, and there's just so much to be thankful for. But also, there's probably a lot of people out there that are struggling with a lot of things. And so we're kind of in that in between. And it's been funny because I was watching a sermon online from a pastor from a church we go to down in Southern California. And he did this sermon this last week on gratitude. And then all of a sudden, I started seeing all these things on social media about gratitude. And then I was reading the Bible and it was about gratitude. And I was like, oh, maybe I should do something about gratitude. One, because at this time of year, of course, Thanksgiving, Christmas, it's like a time of giving thanks, I think it's a time of reflection where we just kind of look back and see where we have been, where we might be going, what the year has brought us. And that could be good or bad. And how do you find the gratitude in between all of that? So, the sermon that we listened to, Pastor Matt was talking about gratitude and how you have to dig through into gratitude even when things look unbearable or just impossible. So I wanted to kind of talk about that of everyone thinks of gratitude as just like I'm so grateful, I'm so happy, I'm so, God is so good. And that's what he was saying is that we always have gratitude, especially as Christians. We get a new car and we go, aren't we so blessed? God is so good. We get a new job. So we always have these gratitude moments when life is great, right? Like XYZ, name whatever the thing is. Somebody will compliment you and you'll be like, I'm so grateful. God is so good. We're so blessed. It's kind of these Christianese kind of things that we say as Christians because we are giving thanks to God. We do love the fact that God is watching over us. But here's a question. Does God watch over you when there is no gratitude to be had, when things are just completely falling apart? Do you find gratitude in that? If I'm being honest, not right away. I'm usually pretty mad. What happens when your kids are struggling with drugs or an addiction? What happens when the job is gone or your car gets repossessed? What happens when you get a cancer diagnosis? What happens when a family member commits suicide? Like all these things, right? In that moment, are you finding gratitude? Not in that moment, not always, if we're being honest. But I think if we're being transparent, we try to find that because we cling to a God that we know can help us walk through these hard things and still find some grace, some gratitude. Thank you for protecting my heart. Thank you for not making it worse. Little tiny things. And listen, if the hard times hit and you are not having gratitude at all, I don't blame you. This isn't about, you have to be in this posture in order to be a good Christian or a loyal Christian or a more spiritual person. You're being honest in your grief and in the struggle and in the hardship at that moment. And God is big enough to handle those things. So when I heard this sermon, I was flooded with memories of things of this season that a few seasons back actually that had happened that I just couldn't possibly think of. Like, how can I find gratitude in this? But then the pastor spoke about how your vision will change when you have gratitude in those moments. If you can just take that time and adjust to what this whole situation is and where can you find some gratitude in the middle of it. Gratitude always reminds us that God is in control. I think that's the biggest thing is that we certainly are not in control. Everyone always thinks that, I can manifest. I hear this so much like I'm going to throw it up in the universe. I can manifest. I can make this happen. That's a positive attitude, right? That's not you being in control. So if somebody's telling you you have control of your destiny, they are lying to you. You don't have control of anything. I think God is a bigger entity than anything that we can like pray to false idols to, or read a tarot card, or do these other things that may make you feel good, but that's more about ego and that's more about you. I think that we can have positive attitudes to move in a good direction. And I think that is where gratitude hits the mark, is that even when these things are going south, we can have a good posture, a gratefulness to say, I know that this is really, really impossible right now, but I know that there is more out there. I know that there is something good out there. I know that God has something better for me, and maybe not better, but different, and that He will protect me, and that He is in control, and that He's not going to leave me in this mess if I choose to keep walking the path forward. You will stay in that mess if you choose to stay in that mess. That is in your control. You can do nothing, and then it's like, now what? But you can always find the gratitude, and you can always move in a better posture when you keep moving forward, keep moving ahead. Don't give up the fight. The reason I talk about this in the UnMothered podcast is because so many of us have had this posture of, why me? Like, why did I get handed this mom that is not there, that is narcissistic, that is abusive, that is toxic, that is all these things? What is so great about that? There's nothing to be grateful for in that moment. In that moment, no, there isn't. And in those moments, no, there wasn't. But there is a gratitude of, thank you, Lord, for clearing my head to do something new and different. That's where the gratitude comes in, is that you can actually settle into these things to say, there is more. I don't need to stay in the past to be ungrateful and bitter about things that weren't handed to me. We would all rewrite the history if we could as unmothered. We would gladly say, give me the good mom. Give me the mom. She may be a little crazy, but she's a good, loving mom. Like, give me that mom. I want that mom. And then I'll be grateful. But that's not our story. And that's not what we got. We got the moms that from the beginning were not there, were unsafe, were not places where we could be grateful for that mom. And so now we have to put that aside and say, yes, that is true. We hold that truth. And we also can be grateful that God is showing us a different way. So I think that this is a beautiful synopsis of gratitude. The pastor talked about the story in Acts where Paul and Silas were in the prison, and they were chained up in this tiny little cell in this, small little prison, but there were other prisoners in there. And if you remember the story, they started to worship. They were grateful that a God that wasn't there in that moment was going to show up. They knew that in their hearts. They had gratitude for that. They knew that something would happen because they had a faith that even when they're in this suffering moment, God was in control, and God was going to be able to help them. They didn't know how, they didn't know what it was going to look like, but they started worshiping. The impact of this that he talked about, which really, really made me think, is he said they didn't worship after they had been saved. They worshiped during the time they were in prison and chained up. They started to sing. They were worshiping loudly. Everyone thought, like, what's going on? They probably were looking at these guys like, are you nuts? Did you just go cuckoo crazy? We are in prison. You are in chains. Like, you're probably going to be killed. Why are you singing these hymnals like, you're in church and you're just so happy? And at that moment, like, the earth shook. The chains fell off. The doors to the prisons opened up, not only for them, but for everybody there, all the prisoners, and they were set free. And so that is a beautiful synopsis of, and a beautiful example of how you can have gratitude. Like, I know there's times when I've fallen on the floor and just said, Lord, I don't know what the next steps are exactly, but I need to trust you in this moment. So I'm giving grace, I'm giving gratitude in this moment that I know you're going to protect me and I know you're going to get me through this. And those were prayers that I prayed bawling on the floor just 2 short years ago when all of those deaths happened in my family, where my heart was just cracked open and I couldn't see straight. And it was like, I can't do this anymore. I don't know. And then it was just like, but I know that you're going to be there with me. And I know that there is a grace and a gratitude for who you are and how much bigger you are than this circumstance right here. And every single time, not only with those things that happened 2 years ago, but during the death of my son, when I wasn't even a Christian then, at 26 years old, just reaching out to him and feeling like there's a pool of, I just need to hold on and be grateful and just, have this grace right now, even though I want to die. I knew that there was something bigger. There was something bigger in control. I think if we can hold on to that posture and just like have that hope and know that God is a grateful and a gracious God, that we can move to the next place. So life does get good again, even if the circumstances or the problem are not solved. We don't have to focus on one thing. We can focus on the thing that we can be active with. The things we can't control, we have to leave in His hands. We can be grateful even in the midst of the storm. We can be grateful that even if, there is something really hard going on, say a child that is struggling. We all have had in different moments a prodigal child, right? Where things are just, we're not sure. We're like, what's going on? I'm not sure what's going on. Be grateful that they're still here with us. That's the gratitude. We can be grateful in the midst of like, I've lost this job. I'm so devastated. I don't know what the next steps are. But you know what, Lord? You have me in this place right now where I get to pray with you. And I know that you're going to see this through. And maybe something else that was meant for me is going to open up. That actually was a story that the pastor talked about where he had lost his job in this one area and it actually led him to becoming a pastor. And so we don't know what the next steps are until we just keep walking forward through that. Because we have faith, we know that He's already written the story. We don't need to control the narrative. So many people nowadays are trying to do that. They're trying to control their destiny. You can't do it. It's not going to happen. The story's already been written. He knows how many days you're going to be on this earth. He knows the day you were born and the day you're going to die. Period, point blank. There is no other way. So you best be grateful and walk the walk that He wants for you, knowing that there will be bumps, there will be hills, there will be turbulence, there will be all kinds of stuff along the way, and He will hold you through all of it. There's a gratefulness in that. I don't need to be so scared because in my humanness I would be. I can be afraid and still walk with a confidence of knowing that God's in control and this is all going to be okay. It's been proven time and time again in my 68 years. I can tell you that for sure. Every moment when I thought I can't go on, this is just not going to, I don't even know what's going on right now. There's no gratitude, just complete devastation. Every single time He's walked us through the path of just keep going. Keep going. It's okay. You're going to be able to get back up. The tears are not going to come as hard and as heavy as they have the day before. Just keep walking through slowly. Grieve well. Don't rush through it. But also have this gratitude of heart of like, Lord, you love me so much. I know you're going to protect me through this. That's a beauty that other people can't see if they don't have that love in their heart for a God who loves us so much. So, a couple of things to just kind of keep in your head as you go through this whole process of gratitude is gratitude shows us God's presence in the suffering. When I was lying on a hallroom floor crying out to a God I didn't even know if I believed in him, he showed me grace and gratitude by offering safety. I can look back and see that in so many times in my life. It's been 2 years since several deaths in my family brought me to my knees, but I also saw some beautiful family redemption, and I was so grateful for that. For you, it may take some time to find gratitude in the situation, and that's okay. We are never here to pretend that we're okay with all of life's experiences all the time. It's not a barometer of how spiritual you are. We are supposed to research our faith and find out how to build our faith, but know that we're never going to do this perfectly. We are human. It takes time. There is gratitude when we can find beauty in life when things seem so sad, hard, or impossible. This is where you will grow and live a life that is pure, peaceful, and gracious. And I pray this for you guys. Peeps, I hope that this episode really gave you a heart of gratefulness. I hope that, and I pray that if you are going through something really, really hard right now, sit quietly, sit with God, ask good questions, ask Him to show you the grace and the gratefulness that I know He has in store for your life. And until next time, I'll see you later, peeps.